Let's have a look at question 14. So part A, just a simple partial fraction question. Let's do that quickly. So 3 over 2x minus 1 times by x plus 1. So we split this into two fractions. A over 2x minus 1 plus b over x plus 1. And then which we can rewrite that into 3 over 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 equal to a times by x plus 1 and then plus b times by 2x minus 1. And then they will have the same denominator, 2x minus 1 and x plus 1. So I just times the first fraction by x plus 1 for both top and bottom to make the denominator 2x minus 1 x plus 1. And I times the second fraction by 2x minus 1 for both top and bottom to make the same denominator. Then add them to get this. So therefore, 3 is just equal to a times by x plus 1 plus b times by 2x minus 1. And then we can substitute the values in. So if we let x equal to -1, then 3 is equal to, so the reason we let x equal to -1 because we want to cancel out this term, because -1 plus 1 becomes 0. So we only look at the b part. So 2 times -1 is -2, minus 1 is -3. So we have -3b. So therefore, b is equal to -1. And then if we let x equal to 1/2, then 3 is still 3. So half plus 1, that will become 3 over 2a. And then 2 times half minus 1, it becomes 0. That's the whole point. We want the second half to be 0. That's why we pick 1/2. So then solve that. 3 times by 2 becomes 6, divided by 3. So a has to be equal to 2. So then we have our partial fraction, which would be 3 over 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 is equal to the a value is equal to 2, so that would be 2 over 2x minus 1. And then b is -1, so it should be minus 1 over x plus 1. So that would be the answer for part A. So 3 marks, nice and easy. And then the second half, so when chemical A and chemical B are mixed, oxygen is produced. A scientist mix those two chemicals and measure the total volume of oxygen produced over a period of time. The total volume of oxygen produced, V meter cube. So for modeling questions, always check the units each time. Yeah. So for volume of the oxygen, V is meter cube. Yeah. And then time t is hours. So make sure, don't forget that. And then dv over dt equal to 3v over 2t minus 1, t plus 1. And then given that exactly 2 hours, so if it's 2 hours, so that means t has to be equal to 2 because the same units. Yeah. And then a total volume of 3 meter cube. So since the units are same, meter cube, so that means v has to be equal to 3. So when t equal to 2, v equal to 3, that will be our condition later. And they want us to solve the differential equation to show that v is equal to 3 times by 2t minus 1 over t plus 1. So, okay, let's solve the differential equation. So we have dv over dt equal to 3v over 2t minus 1 and then t plus 1. So what I would do is I divide by v for both sides because in part A, we already showed 3 over 2x minus 1 x plus 1 is equal to, oh yeah, it's here. So 3 over 2x minus 1 x plus 1 equal to 2 over 2x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 3. So if we don't know that, you can divide by 3v for both sides. But since we already know this whole partial fraction can be written in that two fractions. So it'll be easier to just remove that v. So our times divide by v for both sides to get 1 over v. And I times by dt for both sides. So 3 over 2t minus 1, t plus 1 stay the same, and then dt. And then take the integral for both sides to try to integrate both. So, and then we already know the second half, we can rewrite it into 2 over 2x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 1. So then if we integrate it, 1 over v integrate to ln v, and then 2 over 2x minus 1, that would be 2 times by ln of 2x minus 1. And again, because it's a linear expression, so we divide by the coefficient of, sorry, my bad, it should be t. So because like this expression here is in terms of t, so when we do the partial fraction, so we have to put t, not x. So then that'll be 2 times by ln 2t minus 1, and then divide by the coefficient of t, which is 2, and then 2 over 2 will cancel out, so just ln 2x minus 2t minus 1, and then minus ln of t plus 1, and since the coefficient of t is just 1, so we don't need to divide by anything extra, plus c. So then ln v is equal to, so when you minus 2 logarithm with the same base, you can divide the two expressions here, which is 2t minus 1 over t plus 1, and then plus c. So now we need to change the logarithm into the exponential form. So v is equal to e to the power of ln 2t minus 1 over t plus 1 plus c. So then v is equal to e to the power of ln thing was just stay the same, and then times by e to the power of c. So we normally use capital A to represent e to the power of c. So let me just write them out to make it more clear. So that would be e to the power ln 2t minus 1 over t plus 1 times by e to the power c. Because e to the power c is just some constant, so normally we use capital A to represent it. And then e ln will cancel out, just become 2t minus 1 over t plus 1. So then we will have our final equation, but we need to find out what the value of a is. So we use the condition we get before. So when t equal to 2, v equal to 3. So substitute in. So when t equal to 2, v equal to 3. So that will give us 3 equal to a times by 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3, and then 2 plus 1 is also 3. 3 over 3 become 1, so a is just equal to 3. So therefore, the final equation would be v equal to, if a is 3, just 3 times by 2t minus 1 over t plus 1, which is the same as what they want. Yeah. So that's another 5 marks. So the scientists noticed that there was a time delay between the chemicals being mixed and oxygen being produced. There was a limit to the total volume of oxygen produced. So deduce from the model CI, the time delay give you answer in minutes, and then the limit given you answer in meter cube. So when they ask for the time delay between the chemicals being mixed and oxygen being produced, it just like, because when the two chemicals put in, it's not oxygen produced immediately. Yeah. So there's a time delay when the oxygen being produced. So we need to work out that time. So we want to work out when oxygen start to produce. So basically we want to work out at what time oxygen become 0 and then more. So just first we just have to work out when volume is equal to 0, because after that oxygen will become positive. Yeah. So we need to work out the limiting time. So then we can't divide by 0, so ignore that. So 3 times 2t minus 1 equal to 0. So then 2t minus 1 equal to 0. So then 2t equal to 1. So t equal to 1/2. And then the units will be hours. Yeah. So since they want the answer to be in minutes, so 1/2 hours is equal to 30 minutes. So that would be the answer for part I. So when t equal to 30 minutes, the volume means the volume of the oxygen. Yeah. So the volume oxygen is start from 0, and after that it will become positive. So when t equal to 30 minutes, the oxygen is been produced. Because before that is nothing, it's negative or something. Yeah, it haven't been produced yet. So at t equal to 30 minutes, the oxygen is start from 0 and then become positive. So that's the instant when the oxygen is being produced. Okay, II, the limit given you on, say, meter cube. So we want to work out the limit to the total volume of oxygen produced. So basically, we want to work out when T go to infinity, what happened to V, you know. So there are two ways to do this. So the way I do it is like this. So V equal to, so expand 6T minus 3 over T plus 1. So when T become infinity, so like those two terms will become very, very, very big compared to negative 3 plus 1. Yeah. So you only need to look at the T terms and ignore the constant term in this question. So then 2T over T, it just become T. So when T go to infinity, V will goes into 6. So that would be the limiting value. So like for all those type of questions, you only have, when T go to infinity, you only have to look at the one with the highest power. So if you have, let's say, 5T minus 3 over 2T plus 1, then you just look at 5T and 2T. So eventually it will become 5 over 2 if T go to infinity. Yeah. So only look at the largest, the highest power. Ignore the lower powers. That's all. And then the other way to do this is just pick a very big value in your calculator. So for example, let T to be 10 to the power of 10, let's say, just pick a big power. So if you put T equal to 10 to the power of 10, you just 6 times by 10 to the power of 10 minus 3 over 10 to the power of 10 plus 1. Then in your calculator, it will give you 5.99999, like so on and so forth. So like if it's not big enough, you can pick an even bigger value. So like 10 to the power of 15, let's say. If you try that, it'll just give you 6. Yeah. So just pick a big value. So method 2, pick a big value for T. So let T equal to 10 to the power 15. So then put in your calculator, V is equal to 6 times by 10 to the power 15 minus 3 over 10 to the power 15 plus 1. So then eventually in your calculator, V is equal to 6, which is what we want. Yeah. And then since the volume is already meter cube, so this 6, it is in meter cube.
Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, you can leave some comment. And then if you find the video helpful, please like it and subscribe it. May the A star be with you.